All right, Algebra 2, remember there's a test on Friday. Sorry I'm not here today, but y'all can still do this assignment for 3.4. You're solving and graphing absolute value inequalities. It's just like yesterday's notes, so if you didn't get yesterday's notes, get them out of the blue bin, please. That way you know what's going on. But this warm-up should give you some examples on how to do this. So let's start with number 1. Okay. Number 1, actually, I'll leave it zoomed out here so y'all can get that objective. So if you didn't get the objective, now's the time to get that objective. Solve and graph absolute value inequalities. Okay, on number 1, I want to solve this for the bars. So you see we have the 1/2 and the +1 we need to get rid of. Which one do we need to get rid of first? The loner +1. So we subtract 1, and it's gone on the left side. So I'm going to bring down 1/2 absolute value of x minus 3 greater than 8 minus 1 is 7. Okay. Let me redraw that. All right. Now, I am going to zoom in now. How do I get the bars by themselves? How do I get rid of a 1/2? So please remember, to get rid of a fraction, you multiply by its reciprocal, flipped over. So the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1, or just 2, okay? 2 over 1 is the same thing as just multiplying by 2. Okay, these fractions cancel out, and now I have absolute value of x minus 3 is greater than 7 times 2 is 14. Okay, now the bars are greater than a positive number, so that means I have, if I look at my notes, so looking at our notes here, when the bars are greater than a positive number, it looks like this. That's an open circle shaded on the outside. So that's going to look like this, something like this. Okay, so let's go back. So remember, this splits into 2 inequalities. The first inequality is going to look the exact same as this, but it's going to have no bars. So x minus 3 greater than 14. That's one of my inequalities. But the other one, I have to change 2 things. I have to change the inequality, and I have to change the sign, positive or negative. So let's write this. X minus 3 is the same, and instead of a greater than sign, it's going to be a less than sign. And instead of a positive 14, I'm going to have a negative 14. Okay, so this and this change. Okay, that's very important that you flip the inequality and you change the sign. Now, all you got to do is solve these two. And on each of these, I have x minus 3. So to get rid of that minus 3, I add 3 to both sides. I add 3 to both sides. All right, here we go. So x is greater than 14 plus 3 is 17. And then on this side, x is less than negative 14 plus 3 is negative 11. All right, so let's think about this. Which number is smaller, 17 or negative 11? Well, go ahead and put negative 11 on the left side, and then put 17 on the right side. Now, since these inequalities are not underlined, that means these are going to be open circles, open circles. And then, if we are less than negative 11, that means we're going to shade to the left of negative 11. Go ahead and shade to the left and put a little arrow. And then for x being greater than 17, it's going to go to the right, greater, and then put an arrow. Okay, so it's just like our note said right here. Okay, it's open circles, whoops. It was open circles shaded outside, meaning it's going opposite directions, just like that. Okay. Let's look at number 2. I see I have bars with a -5 loner, so I got to get rid of that -5. So let's add 5 here, add 5 here. So the -5 and +5 cancel. I'm going to bring down absolute value of x minus 3 less than or equal to, and then -2 plus 5 is 3. Okay. Now this time I have bars less than or equal to a positive number. On my notes, bars less than or equal to a positive number looks like this. So that's going to be closed circles shaded in between. On that first one, it should have been this. Anyways, closed circle shaded in between. So if I got 2 endpoints that are closed and I shade in between, it's going to look like that, almost like a barbell or something. Okay, so let's go back to the warm-up. I have bars isolated, so now is when I split it. Okay. So remember, when I split it, I'm going to rewrite this without the vertical line absolute value bars. So I have x minus 3 less than or equal to 3. But over here, there's 2 changes. I'm going to flip the inequality, and I'm going to change the sign here. So now I'm going to have x minus 3. Instead of less than or equal, I'm going to have a greater than or equal. And instead of a positive 3, I'm going to have a negative 3. So again, this and this had to change. Cool. Let's solve each of these. To get rid of the loner -3s, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And I'm going to add 3 to both sides. What is going on here? All right, so on this one, x is less than or equal to 3 plus 3 is 6. And on this one, x is greater than or equal to -3 plus 3 is actually 0. All right, which one's smaller, 6 or 0? 0. So on my number line, 0 is on the left, 6 is on the right. Each of these inequalities are underlined, so my circles here are going to be shaded in. And then, since this is less than 6, it's going to the left of 6, this way. And since this one is greater than 0, it's going to the right this way. They both go until they touch each other, and they're just shaded in between. No arrowheads, it's just between 0 and 6, including the endpoints on this one, okay? Now, number 3, well, let's isolate the bars. I'm going to add 4 to both sides, add 4 to both sides. What's going on? Okay, so I got absolute value of x plus 1 less than, and then -6 plus 4 is -2. The bars are by themselves, but what do you notice? There's a negative on this side. So when you have less than a negative, that's going to be this one right here. And what do we put if it's less than a negative, or even less than or equal to a negative? No solution. No solution, buddy. And how do I put that on the graph? It looks like this. Ta-da. Nothing on it. No solution. Okay. All right, last but not least, I need to get rid of this -3 in front of the bars, so I'm going to divide by -3. Divide by -3. I'm gonna cry. There we go. All right, those cancel out. Okay, this is an error, my bad. So this, can I draw here? Thank you so much. This original one should have been a less than or equal to, my bad. Okay, so when you divide by -3, you should end up getting this. Because when you divide by a negative, it flips the inequality. Okay, so now we have the bars are greater than or equal to a negative. So let's go back to our notes. Greater than or equal to a negative means infinitely many solutions. All right, so infinitely many solutions. My computer hates me right now, and they will not write correctly. Okay. Infinitely many solutions. Okay. And on your number line, you can just shade it all with arrowheads, please. All right, so that is your warm-up. You're going to get 3.4 passed out to you, and you're going to do these on your own, on your warm-up. So go ahead and work on that. If you need this, it's also going to be posted in the Google Classroom, the key and the warm-up and everything, all right?